Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk grain markets with Mike Zuzolo from Global Commodity Analytics and Consulting out of Atchison. Boy, lots of concerns, lots of questions as we get into the growing season. We'll also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture, along with Kansas Grain Sorghum, and the weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, and more market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com. In agricultural news, President Biden this week announced the EPA taking steps to allow for summertime E15 sales. Biden made the announcement during a visit to a facility in Iowa. And to make E15 available in the summer, the EPA is planning to use a national emergency waiver that the White House will issue. Now, without that waiver, E15 cannot be used in most of the country from June 1st to September the 15th. Now, EPA plans to take final action on the issue and the emergency waiver closer to that June 1st time period. The White House says the EPA also considering some additional action to facilitate the use of E15 year-round. Well, the total number of global crop acres rose by 73 million during the last couple of years. Agricultural Economic Insights first observed an uptick in global acreage back in 2020. The number of acres have trended sideways because of sluggish commodity prices and profitability from 2014 through 2019. Now, after acres began increasing in 2020, another increase was observed at a record 2.43 billion acres got harvested in 2021. Now, as far as which crop contributed to the most in the recent expansion, they say look no further than oilseeds. From 2016 to 2021, soybean production grew by 25 million acres. That accounted for 40% of the total acreage increase. Now, if you want to compare, corn acreage expanded by only 15 million acres. The Insight Group says profitability was behind the surge in those planted acres. And Kansas State University researchers looking more closely at the dynamics of marketing beef directly to consumers in the hope that they can help farmers capitalize on the American ever-increasing interest in those locally produced foods. There was an initial survey of 198 consumers and 66 beef producers. They found that the COVID pandemic greatly increased consumers' interest in purchasing that Kansas-raised beef directly from the farm. Now, meanwhile, 61% of the beef producers surveyed said that their business-to-consumer marketing, known as B2C, increased in both 2020 and 2021. The author of the study, K-State's Greg Eibendahl, said producers are thinking there's got to be a way we can earn some of that margin back for themselves. And by selling directly to consumers, they can, he says. But in doing that, they're going to have to take a lot of those roles that packers and retailers are doing. But he said there is potential for more profitability for producers through direct marketing. Speaking of marketing, we'll talk grain markets with Mike Zuzolo when we return. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
And we're pleased to be joined by Mike Zuzolo, Global Commodity Analytics and Consulting in Atchison. Mike, always great to have you join us.
Great to be with you again, Ken. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, many folks have said, hey, when are you going to have somebody on to talk about the impact of Ukraine and the whole where we are with these commodity markets? What are folks to do? And so I thought of no better one than you to kind of maybe guide us through this. It's been a while since you and I have talked, and a lot has happened since then. So I think the first thing we've got to talk about is this wheat market. This wheat market, it just took off, settled back a little bit, and now this week it took off even stronger.
Yeah, and in the middle of all this with Ukraine and the Russian war, I think it's really important to remember that what happened between the first part of March and the later part of March and the big pullback we had pretty much across the board in a lot of commodities and a lot of other assets was margin call related. And I think that's really important as we go into summertime for the farmer, the rancher, the producer, and the feed buyer. These are the guys that are going to have to really watch it very closely, because we had a real big drop in open interest because margin calls just got way too big. And funds and even commercial energy traders, massive multi-million-dollar energy traders, for instance, and metals traders just pulled the plug because they couldn't handle the margin. And I think that's something that we really want to keep in mind when it comes to the ag sector, especially if we turn this hard red wheat drought that we have in the plains states and in the Western Corn Belt, starting in Nebraska. If we turn that into more of a bigger Corn Belt drought like we had in 2012, we can go up fast, but then you're probably going to lose your commercial hedger pretty quickly. And I think that's one of the things that I'm most worried about as far as getting too bulled up on this market.
Well, and that's it. As we look for some of those old guys trying to find where the fundamentals are. They just haven't been there. And so we have to kind of keep in mind that a lot of this trade has changed, a lot of electronic, a lot of other factors than maybe what we were used to.
Yeah, that's a really great point, because what I dub that as the funds versus the fundamentals. And I think that's what you and I have talked about before. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And I think this is where the Ukrainian fundamentals, maybe the trade's missing something here that we also need to be watching out for. And I think that is the fact that what you see in the news is that they're going to lose about 30 to 40% of their wheat and corn production. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think that may be a conservative estimate. Why is that? Because I think the trade has not really connected the dots with what's going on in the energy markets. And the longer this war goes on, the harder it is going to be for the Ukrainian farmers to get energy, get diesel. 80 to 90% of their farmers did not have any diesel booked, and they're living day to day right now, and they're doling it out. We haven't seen any losses in acreage base yet because of the diesel prices and diesel supplies, quite frankly. But Ken, I think the longer this war goes on and the more that Putin presses the eastern Ukrainian border, I think that could become a real issue. And that 30 to 40% loss in production for new crop ends up being bigger. And then all of a sudden, the corn that they have right now in supplies that's going down in price because they can't export it, all of a sudden that becomes really precious and really dear to the Ukrainians. So this is a fundamental factor. I think we got to attach the diesel with the new crop plantings and start doing that. And the trade really hasn't done that yet.
We're talking with Mike Zuzolo, Global Commodity Analytics and Consulting. We'll take a break. Lots more to talk about. We'll talk about year-round E15, also China and other things. We'll do that in just a moment.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the soybean checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com. And Mike Zuzolo, Global Commodity Analytics and Consulting, is joining us. And Mike, this week, the president was in Iowa and made an announcement telling EPA, yes, we're going to do year-round E15. What does that mean for corn usage and the corn market?
Yeah, big thing I think to watch here is my understanding, Ken, and you may know more about this because you've been visiting with some of the policymakers this week, is whether this actually happens to be extended into summer blending in June, is my understanding, is when the Biden administration is going to announce that. If that happens, then that could set up the idea that this could be a year-round feature and go all the way 365 into summer and winter blending. I think that's where it really makes a big difference. The WASDE report last week did kick up the ethanol blending a little bit, which was nice to see. The issue, I think the biggest thing for the producer that I can help them with and the feeder that I can help them with right now is the idea that my biggest fear was that the Biden administration, as prices and grains went higher, we'd actually go food versus fuel like we usually do in Washington, where we put the two up against each other and all of a sudden we try and pull back on ethanol usage. Well, the inflation being highest since 1981 has changed that dynamic, and it really is a pleasant surprise for me, and it really could give us a really good pop in the basis side of the equation near ethanol plants where if you're a corn farmer. But if you flip that over, if you're a cattle feeder and you need corn and you're near an ethanol plant, you may be getting the low end of the price right now in terms of basis if this goes into action.
Now I want to kind of piece all this together with one word: China. China's still in the market. China is one of those. We've been so busy talking about the Ukraine-Russia situation. Where's China in all this? Because they're still in the market most weeks.
Yeah, China is losing economic steam. I mean, we can see that now because of the zero policy lockdown in Shanghai, the biggest city in China. 25, 26 million people. They tried to lock them all down. They literally, some people, I've seen reports where they locked their doors from the outside or put tape on the outside as a seal so that if they went out, they would get in trouble. This is not a good situation for China's demand. And we see this in the pork industry. We see this in the livestock industry in China right now, Ken. So I still think this is cost push inflation. It's weather, it's supply. It's not necessarily China demand, although they are in the market and they're buying some, but I get more and more nervous if prices go higher that they're just going to cut their demand back even more. So I still stick with the idea that for grain hedgers, the best time period to hedge will be the first half of this calendar year. I think something you and I talked about the last time we visited. For livestock guys and ranchers, I think it'll be the second half of 2022 when supplies are dropping, weights are dropping. Then you have more of a seller's market as we get into the end of the year. That really kind of firms me up in terms of what's going on with the HPAI and the tighter hog supplies.
Mike, folks want to learn more from you. How can they do that?
Best way to go is to go to our website, globalcomresearch.com. That's globalcom with 2 M's, research.com. I've got a special running 3-month subscription, get all the analysis for $150. And that includes a lot of videos, audios, and written research, Ken.
Mike, it's always great to catch up with you. Thanks.
Great to be with you, sir. Thank you.
Mike Zuzolo, Global Commodity Analytics and Consulting, has joined us. Stay with us. More in a moment.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Get the latest news from the Kansas Soybean Commission by checking out April's digital soy notes on the website. Here are a few highlights. The Kansas Soybean Commission celebrates National Soy Foods Month each April by encouraging consumers to explore soy foods and their health benefits. Soy is versatile, it's protein-packed, and it's part of many common foods. Chocolate, vegetable oil, coffee creamer, edamame. Plus, it feeds the animals that make the delicious bacon, chicken, and seafood on your plate. New to the Commission, April 1, we welcome Mountain Valley grower Mike Froby to the District 9 position on the board. On his generational farm, Froby grows soybeans, corn, wheat, and raises cattle. His interest in joining the Commission stemmed from wanting to give back to groups that have supported his livelihood. Coming up, the Animal Agriculture Alliance is hosting its annual Stakeholder Summit May 11th through 12th in Kansas City. The North Central Soybean Research Program is coming to Manhattan, Kansas in August for a board meeting. Visit www.kansassoybeans.org and look under the News tab to read these soybean checkoff stories and more. There you can also sign up to receive future digital soy notes straight to your inbox.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
This spring, the Division of Animal Health team at the Kansas Department of Agriculture has been on elevated alert to respond to the highly pathogenic avian influenza outbreak, which has been making its way across the U.S. since early March. This contagious virus is deadly to poultry and has been spreading rapidly, and KDA has been working closely with the USDA along with our partners in other states as we all respond to this outbreak and work to slow the spread of HPAI to the nation's poultry industry. It has been clear that the primary method of transmission is from wild migratory birds like ducks and geese traveling through the area. Anyone involved with poultry production, from the small backyard chicken owners to the large commercial producers, should review your biosecurity activities to assure the health of your birds. Biosecurity in this case means taking active steps to prevent exposure to your birds by separating them from birds which might be carriers of the virus. Keep feed and water sources covered so your birds aren't sharing them with wild birds, and reduce puddles or areas of standing water that would attract wild birds. Don't carry the virus home. Always change your shoes and clothes before working with your poultry. If you're getting new chicks this spring, confirm that the seller has been implementing biosecurity and that the flock has been healthy, and isolate new birds from your other birds for at least 30 days. And watch for symptoms of avian influenza, respiratory problems like coughing or sneezing, lack of energy or appetite, and of course sudden death of birds in your flock. If you suspect your birds are sick, immediately contact your veterinarian or call us at KDA. We have a toll-free hotline for avian influenza calls at 833-765-2006, or you can email us at kda.hpai@ks.gov. Find out more about highly pathogenic avian influenza at agriculture.ks.gov/avian influenza.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
As producers across the country continue to contend with wildfires, drought, and other natural disasters, NCBA has requested further assistance from USDA and Congress to more quickly address the needs of those impacted. In response to that request, USDA recently announced that ranchers who have approved applications through the 2021 Livestock Forage Disaster Program for forage losses due to severe drought or wildfire last year soon will begin receiving emergency relief payments for increases in supplemental feed costs through the Farm Service Agency's new Emergency Livestock Relief Program. Data submitted through LFP will be used to determine eligibility and payment amounts. Eligible livestock producers must have suffered grazing losses in a county rated by the U.S. Drought Monitor as a D2 for 8 consecutive weeks, or a D3 or higher level of drought intensity during 2021 and have applied and been approved for LFP. FSA will utilize livestock inventories and drought-affected forage acreage or restricted animal units and grazing days due to wildfire already reported by the producer on their 2021 LFP application to calculate emergency livestock relief program payments. To reach an amount that is a reasonable approximation of increased supplemental feed cost for eligible livestock producers in 2021, the payments will be equal to the producer's gross 2021 LFP calculated payment multiplied by a payment percentage. For more information on the Emergency Livestock Relief Program, contact your local Farm Service Agency office.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Good morning. I'm Darren Van Vactor with Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. Food, energy, and fiber continue to be the driving forces in the market. Crude is well off its highs from March, but is hovering around $100 a barrel. Moving back over $105 per barrel could open the door to the previous highs. In addition, the Biden administration is pushing to lift E15's summertime ban to help ease prices at the pump an estimated 5 to 10 cents. The higher blending rate is intended to curb gas prices, but it also gives corn yet another boost. Old new crop corn made new highs and high closes on the week. We saw some $8 plus old crop bids and some $7 fall delivered bids. Beans have rebounded about $1 from their late March drawdown. Old crop is now hanging around the 50-day moving average, while new crop did make a close back over the $15 mark. As for wheat, hard red has led the complex higher. The uncertainty surrounding the European conflict is now being compounded with domestic weather concerns in hard red country. Dry and windy conditions persist, and the forecast is not offering a whole lot of relief at the moment. Volatility is offering opportunity. There are many ways to take advantage. If you'd like to discuss some ways, please give us a call at 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor, wishing you all a safe planting season ahead and a happy Easter.
That's our show this week. Be social at kansasagreport.net or our social media channels. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.